everyone, so I'm going to show you how to make this snowflake. It's a crocheted in the round, like most of them, snowflake, and I'm using sport weight yarn, so it's a little bit thicker. It's not a lace weight or like thread yarn, so it has more of that chunky look. I know there's a million snowflake videos out there, but I guess that's the point of snowflakes. They're all unique and different. So depending, I guess, on your aesthetic, there's a lot to choose from, which is nice. So I'm gonna start out with the magic loop. If you don't know how to do that, you should look that up. There's lots of videos and it's really helpful. So I've started with that, and I'm gonna put in, on this first round, I'm gonna just directly do double crochets into the magic loop. So I'm gonna do basically this little like flower pattern, and they're little petals composed of 3 double crochets. So I'm gonna do that now. I'm gonna put 3, and then I'm gonna do a spacer of 2 chains, and then 3. So here we go. I start by doing this false kind of double crochet, so you don't have to do the chain, which kind of looks obvious. So what you do is you pinch the top, you rotate it around how you would do a normal double. So you kind of have to use the pressure to hold it in place. So now I'm going to put in, I keep pulling this, I'm just going to put this up here. We do our 3, 1, 2 spaces, and then we're gonna do 3 more. You can also put in a triple crochet in the middle of these 3 doubles. You could do like a double, triple, double. You can see how they're kind of just all flat here. It's almost like a star form, but if you wanted the middle one to go up a little bit more, kind of add a little bit more flair, that's a different alteration to the pattern, and that's what I like to do. I like to change it up every time I make something. I never want to make the same thing twice just because it's so boring and monotonous for the maker. So once you learn to do the basic stitches, there's a ton of different variations you can do within a project, so you can feel free to just have fun with it. And also, if I make mistakes, I'm not really one to go back and fix them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is our 6th one. 1, 2, oh. It's hard to work off of a ball of yarn that's not wound into a cake or a ball. This is a little bit hard to keep my tension, it keeps pulling. So then you close the magic loop, you pull, and then you pull whichever one got cinched. I like to do it with 2 loops because it makes it just a tighter, more reliable closure. This is a little wonky, but then you go back here and you connect in the round. So now we have our first round. You're going to slip stitch until you get to the space, your first space. So you slip into that space. And then the next round, as you can see here, is single crochets to kind of shape that space. I put in 5, I believe. So you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 single crochets, and then we're going to make this space right here so we can work into the next round later. So we're going to create 3 chains, and then we're going to go back into the next space and then put in 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, oops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can see that that little chain space of 2 allows for 5 stitches to be fit in there. So that's kind of the general rule with chains. You can kind of squeeze a lot in there. So this 3 space is going to fit a bunch more stitches than 3. So we have 3, 4, 5. Would not recommend using a unwound, I don't even know what you call it. There's probably a term for it, but I can't think of it. So yeah, we're coming toward the end. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to connect to our first stitch with a slip stitch. So now we have this little center kind of star flower shape. And now we're going to go on to the 3rd round, which is going to be another, let's see. I think I actually flipped the work. Yeah, so you flip the work and you do another chain slip stitch back into that space. And what we're going to do here is we're going to do 5 double crochets, each separated by a chain. So we're going to do the false kind of double crochet starter. You pinch, you wrap, and then you do a normal kind of motion for a double crochet. We're going to put a chain space between each of these. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Doesn't really matter if you flip your work, you can kind of see for the wrong side. It has a different look, but for that first round it really doesn't matter, and it kind of adds to the aesthetic of like different textured stitches, and I kind of like it for the center. So we are going to put the 5 double crochets spaced out with 1 little space chain, and then in between we're going to do 2 chains. So that is the pattern for this round. Again, we're on our 3rd round. Oops. This ball. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. So we're working right here, these little starburst kind of things. And on to the next. So in the next row, what we're going to do is, you can see in here, we're going to put 2 stitches in the spaces, and that kind of keeps them separated and spaced out to kind of seal in that look for the bars. Without it, you really kind of might not notice it, and kind of putting in a bunch of stitches into that one space really makes it prominent, kind of like that taut look. So yeah, I really like this pattern. I've made it a bunch. You can starch it with Mod Podge. I wouldn't really recommend using like a glue or Mod Podge because it gets kind of like gummy, like the feel of glue after, so I don't know, it's kind of a crusty look. You can use starch for like ironing, the spray starch. That's not really strong, even if you do a few coats of it. So I don't really have a great recommendation as of right now of how to kind of keep it stiff. I'm sure there's many suggestions on YouTube. I have to look into that, but I do not have the answers for you. Okay, You can actually slip into the space here because we're gonna do the same thing where we're doing that starter double crochet. You wanna put 2 into each slot, and we're gonna do the same, well actually we're not gonna do the same thing. We're gonna put in 2 with no spacers. So 2, 2, 2, 2. And then in between here, we're gonna create this little bubble. So we're gonna put in 4, or sorry, let's see. I'm gonna put in 3 in between, and then we're gonna go directly into the space in between here. So we have 1, grab more yarn, 2, 1, 2. So right now I'm kind of just using whatever yarn I have. I really like acrylic yarns for these snowflakes. It kind of gives it that sheen. Bernat has a really good, I forget what the name of it is, but it's like a very noticeable sheen for their kind of white. Let me show you. This is an angel I've been working on. You can kind of see it's very shiny, so that's a cute kind of pattern, or sorry, yarn to use for an option. And then also I absolutely love Fiocco Simply Soft, which is a blend 50-50 of nylon and acrylic, and it is so extremely soft. Oh, there's my kitty. What are you doing? What are you doing? Hi. Oh boy, I'm wearing a thick sweater and he climbs my sweater. Yeah, so anyway, it's really soft. So if you're gonna make just something, I don't know, I guess it more applies to like these doll dresses, because you can use them as like angels or as, I think, kind of like little dolls for your doll. I think this would be cute, you know, how like kids play with their dolls and they have them kind of being the baby, like they either have them as a baby or they have their dolls having babies. So I don't know, it'd be a cute doll's doll. Or if you made it into a large size, large enough, you could actually make it be a doll. So there's some other options for yarn. I guess you really wouldn't need something super soft for the snowflake, but I just love this yarn in general, so maybe more to that effect. But then again, it's interesting to see different yarns with kind of similar patterns to see how they look. Kitty. All right, so back to our snowflake. We are on the 4th round. 1, 2, 3, 4. And oops, okay, we gotta pay attention. We want 3 in between. 1, 2, 3. And then we go directly into the space. So the next round, we're gonna be doing single crochets into this to make it kind of prominent, as you can see here. And then we're gonna be doing this foundation loop that we're gonna work into in the next round. So it's not always obvious by just looking at a piece which rows kind of are which, because a lot of times there's these kind of setup rows. So, I mean, if you're an advanced or intermediate crocheter, you can basically look at a picture a lot of times and figure out how things were made, or kind of do a trial and error and figure it out, which is really cool. There's a lot of creativity and originality that can go into it. So even with this, you don't have to follow it exactly. You can kind of just use elements even that you like to build your own snowflake, or incorporate elements into a different design. I've been working on different designs for my angels because I've made the same one a bunch, even though there are kind of minor variations in each one I make. I'm kind of looking to do a completely different one. So once you know the basics, you can kind of play around. So this is our kind of, almost looks like a coaster or like a flower. Can probably be the base of maybe even a tablecloth if you go outward. Lots of possibilities, guys. All right, so now we're gonna start shaping it to get like the snowflake effect around the edges. And I really like the variety of this one. It's a lot of different kind of almost like floral hints, but also very snowflakey. All right, so you're gonna slip until you get, I think you slip 2, and you can kind of see we have 2, 4, 6, 8. So you have half and half here, 4 and 4. You want to go right up to that. You want to go 3 in basically, and then you're gonna chain 6, 2, 4, 6, and then you're gonna find 3 in from the other side and go in there with a slip. And then in order to get to the other loop, we're gonna do the same thing with the slip chain, or I think it's just called slip. You slip 2, 3 into that circle or space, and then we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you really want an odd number here because we're gonna end up crocheting into this middle space, so you want even counts on either side with the center. So we have 5 here. You could even do like 7. Let's see how that would work. Really like to accentuate the shaping. So yeah, just play around with that, see what you like. Then we're gonna slip back to this basically center point. You leave basically 2 stitches in between. So you leave these 2 middle ones with 3 on either end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you go 3 from the other side, and then you go back in, sorry. You go into that like 3rd stitch. So you see that there's these 1, 2 spaces in between these 2 double crochets, and then these are their corresponding loops. Yeah. So you do 1, 2, 3, okie dokie. And now we're gonna do our 7. So yeah, you can do 5, 7, whatever you think looks good. 4, 5, 6, 7. You can kind of cheat and skip that first one and just slip into the next because it kind of overlaps anyway, so that's okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, you can skip that one because it's kind of already covered. And you can kind of do it on the other end too over here. You don't really have to slip into that last space. You can kind of just start with the single crochets. So I'll just do that on this one. So you do count 3 in. 1, 2, and then we can just start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, this one is a little bit more time consuming, but you know, if you want to make it badly enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm using just Joann Fabrics crochet hooks. They have these metal ones. Held up really well. I've used a bunch of their different hooks and knitting needles all in metal, and they all Yeah. All right, so let's see. We are coming up to the end. Go play with your brother. All right, so we've gotten to the end finally. All right, let's see. Oh dear. What happened here? It seems that I skipped this center part right here. Oh boy. There's supposed to be a separating thing here. Oh well. To combat it, we're gonna put in, let's see, we're gonna do 3 single crochets because we just spent all of that time working on our, actually let's do 5, on our round. We are not going back. So it won't be perfect, but you know what they say about snowflakes. All right, so now we're gonna be working into these little loops that we created that were the 6 chains. And we're gonna be putting double crochets in it to fill it, to get it to look like this. So I put 7 separated by 3 chains and then 7. So we have 2, 4, 6, 7, chain 3 to create that little nub peak thing. And then we put 7 more on the descending side. And you can really play around with this because there's multiple ways to shape it. If you want it to have like that uniform look, you can do all double crochets. If you want it kind of built up, as you can see here, I do singles, half, double, and then double to kind of give it more of that smaller to thicker shape. You can even alternate in between. Since there are 6 points, you can do like a fatter one, a skinnier one, fatter, skinny. You can really mix it up per snowflake, whatever you want. So here to anchor it, we go in between, it's kind of hard to see, there's 4 stitches here, and you go in between the 2 here. So you just divide that in half. So basically 2 in from this center. We're gonna crochet 2 chains, and then we're gonna find the center of this. We did 7, so it should be 3, 1, 2, 3, so it's the 4th. And we're gonna work into this stitch 4 double crochets with a little picot on top. So in order to do the picot, you do a chain 3. So I'll show you again. We go back into this same stitch, we do a double crochet, we chain 3, and then you can kind of see there's these 2 bars. You really kind of want to go in diagonally. You go here, under that, and then also under one of the, I guess, bars on the double crochet. So once you kind of have the stitch in front of you, you can kind of see it better. So it's here and here. And we do 4 of these. And then another chain 2 separating this little motif. So 1, 2. Then we're going to anchor again. We have 2 from the center with the chain, or sorry, I always say chain, it's a slip stitch. We always anchor with slip stitches. And then we're going to do, just for the sake of mixing it up, we're going to do the half double. So we have 2 of those, and then we'll do the rest. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3. We want to make sure we do the same pattern on the way back down. 1, oh boy, 2, 3, 4, 5. So those are all doubles, and then we're going to do 6, 7. Both of those are half doubles. So you can kind of see it has a little bit of a different look, more gradual kind of thing. We're going to anchor it in between those 4. So you have the 2 and 2 with a double, chain 2, find your center, and go into these little 2 bars. So double, oops, picot, 1, 2, 3 chains, and then into that bar. Do it one more time. So you can kind of see on the top of the regular crochet stitch, there's like that kind of knit. It's a little hard with this lighting. There's a kind of braid V, like a knit stitch, kind of like a stockinette, there we go, stitch, and you want to just split that. So you want to go through the center here, oops. So you go through that, and then you kind of automatically fall into this. You kind of run into it with your hook, and it's just right here. So yeah, you kind of do this like scooping action, like from the top down, you kind of scoop in there. It's a lot easier if you have the work in front of you, really kind of see it as you go. And it's kind of a natural motion, like I said, you kind of just stick your hoop in from the top and then you kind of run into that. If you're kind of going in like a C shape. So there's that. So yeah, that's basically the pattern. It's just smooth sailing, doing the rest of the sequence all the way across for this last row. We're going to do a fat one now with just all the regular double crochets, because we're going to do 3 and 3 of each, alternating. So yeah, you can play around with it. You can do one with like all singles. You can do single, half, then double, like building up this little peak. Have fun, play around, make a million different varieties. The possibilities are endless. So we got 6, 7. You can even put like 1 chain instead of 3 in between to have a more subtle look. This kind of just creates this little mini kind of cinched little picot there. So yeah, I'm gonna stop there. This is what we have so far. Get rid of this dude. All right, we got our little center thing that has to be woven in. Don't forget to do that. Just tuck that over there for now. So yeah, this is what you do. And like I said, you can starch it. I really like to hang a velvet bow through one of these little picots. A little thin, like navy bow is really cute. You can hang them in your windows, you can hang them on your Christmas tree, you can give them as gifts. You can do like a little garland. You can string them all up like over your, I don't know, kitchen sink, or you can put them on your mantle. They look really cute with like pine branch cuttings and like lights behind it. It's really cute if you have like, especially that kind of sheen yarn. It really reflects in the light. So that's really cute. You can even do like a chain stitch, like a bunch of chains connecting them to make your own garland. So yeah, have fun with it. Like I said, don't be afraid to keep up with the modifications that you want. And just going back to this little error, I don't even know where it was. Oh, it's right here. It's really not that big of a deal. You're not gonna see it. Just make sure you go into the little center stitch here, but I don't think it's worth ripping the whole thing out. So don't be afraid to make mistakes and learn as you go. Thanks guys, hope you enjoyed, bye.